Welcome to Leaving the Lies and Speaking Your Truth. My name is Ariyl Fuentes. Me and my co-host Melody would like for you to head over to our YouTube page, Leaving the Lies and Speaking Your Truth. We would ask that you would please like, share, and subscribe to our page. The more subscribers we have, the more we can get the message out there and help those that have been in a cult. We also ask that you head on over to our Facebook page, Leaving the Lies and Speaking Your Truth. We ask that you also join our group there. Mel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. We have a beautiful guest today, Miss Delayah. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
She is used to be a part of the House of Yahweh. She is going to share her experience. She is, I do believe, one of the youngest guests that we have had. Correct, Melody?
I, Very possibly, but certainly she is one of the most recent members of the House of Yahweh. She's left the most recent of any of the other people that we've interviewed so far. So it's going to be definitely a more up to date insight on what the House of Yahweh is more currently like, what they're doing, what they're teaching, all of those things. It's going to definitely be an insight on that for us, especially.
Awesome. All right, honey, you ready? You ready to do
Mm-hmm.
this?
Okay, we're
All
going to
Yeah.
right.
start real simple. The first question we want to ask you is when and how did you originally join the House of Yahweh?
So I joined the House of Yahweh through my parents. My father, he has known about it since I was a baby in Brooklyn.
Wow.
Um, he found the House of Yahweh through a commercial, um, like a TV commercial, and then he started going to the classes in Brooklyn. I believe it was in Brooklyn. It was somewhere in New York, either in the city or Brooklyn, but and then he went to like my mom's side of the story because they've been going since like I was like a little baby or like when I was like when she was pregnant with me and stuff.
Okay.
So she had like a different experience like due to like early 2000s. But when I went to the House of Yahweh, it was for the first time. It was a feast of Passover, 2011.
Okay.
Um, it was interesting. Yeah. And then I moved there in 2013.
Okay, and
Yeah.
when you moved to Texas, what was your family promised as far as where you would live and how did that compare to the reality of the situation?
Okay, so 2013 we were in Virginia. My dad was going back and forth to the feast. And he was talking to the Kohans. Yeah, and they were like, I mean, I wasn't there when they had the conversation, but they said that they had a place for us. And when we moved there, it was a trailer. Like, so like I have like three older sisters and a little sister and a little brother. So two older sisters and me, and then my little brother and little sister, and of course my mom and dad. So like,
7 people.
yeah, so like 7 people in like 2 bedroom. I wasn't used to that. Like I was used to living in like enough bedrooms and stuff like that. So it was like, I mean, it was an experience. Like, that wasn't what I expected at all. None of us expected
Right.
that. So they told us to um in like in 6 months that they'll give us a different place, and they didn't give us like a different place.
So and
That
it's okay. So the trailer was small. Was it in at least a decent condition? Was it in good condition?
No, it was not in good condition. Like we didn't even have a heater or air conditioner. It was the rug looked like it was there for like years.
Wow.
Um, it just looked like
And where was that? Where was that trailer located? Was that on the 44
On
acres or?
TP, it was on TP Lane.
Okay.
Off like right next to like Life Nutrition and like yeah TP Midway.
And
So when your father originally asked or was going to move to Abilene, did he speak to the elders, Kohans, Yisrael, and say, hey, can you guys help me find a place to live? And did they say, oh, yeah, sure. And it'll be, what did they say?
I don't know for sure what they said, but they definitely said that they like have a place for us. He get my dad gave him the details, like how many kids that we have, why is he
right.
trying, why is he moving there and stuff, for his health and to like, know more about it. Um, to
And
be a
Delayah,
part.
what were your parents doing before they moved to Texas, and then after, as far as like for to make a living?
Oh, so they do like real estate and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much what they do.
So both before and after. So they were doing real estate before you moved to Texas, and then after they moved there, they continued to do that. Correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
but the real estate was located in New York. So.
Okay.
Mm.
Now, you said something about your dad's health. What was your dad's health like when you very first went to the House of Yahweh?
So okay, so his health. He just got his uh toes amputated
Oh wow.
when we first moved there, and so like that was like like I don't know, a shock to him. So he was like, okay, I need like I need to be strong in my faith and like eat good, and so like the Kohans and all that, they were like, this is the best place for that. Um,
How
so
many of his toes did he lose, Delayah? All of them?
no, just one of his foot,
Okay.
just one.
Okay.
Yeah,
And was he diabetic or something? Was that there was a medical reason for
yeah,
that? Okay.
yeah.
Did you ever experience the house of Yahweh without the wall of separation, or was that there to separate the men and women as soon as you arrived?
As soon as I came, it was like that.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
How
but
was it explained to you? I mean, did you question it? Were you like, what is this? What do you mean I can't look over and see boys? What's going on?
yeah. So, um, I mean, I was just like, that's interesting. I don't know, like it's like it really depend on the person. I feel like it just depended on because I lived outside of 44 on TMP,
Right.
so like my neighbors were also men. Yeah, I had men neighbors.
So
Yeah, most of my neighbors were men.
So I have a
So,
question. You said that your parents had been following the house of Yahweh since before you were born. So did you grow up with a lot of the teachings of the house of Yahweh even though you didn't go until 2011?
no, I didn't really grow up on the teachings of the House of Yahweh. I
Okay.
grew up on the teachings of the, I would say like Yahweh's laws and stuff, like keeping the Sabbath.
Right.
Okay.
I grew up on that and like,
So you
yeah,
were
keep on the
prepared for
Sabbath, no
some of it?
holidays. Most of it, I feel like just not, yeah, I feel like I was prepared for most of it. Like I never celebrated holidays.
Okay.
Um, I koshered my food. I never ate pork.
Okay.
Like, just like those stuff like I always did,
Okay.
but their teachings, no, most of their teachings when I moved there is when I learned about them. Yeah.
Got you. So, with this wall of separation, everybody being separated, the reason why I asked this is because we had a group of friends too, our social group, and it was mixed with male and female. Did you have a group of friends while you were there, and what was your social life like? I mean, what would you guys do after Sabbath? What would you guys do during the feast? Who was a part of your social group?
So okay, so when we first moved there, it was just like we didn't know anybody. My family didn't know anybody. So we were just like, my family was just like, we're tight.
Right.
um, so like we were treated differently. I feel like just off of like my mom speaking Spanish. There's all types of people there, but like I don't know, maybe because like we're new, and it's just I don't know if you could say like we're hard headed or something, but like we just don't. We're not used to people just telling us what to do and like us just doing it and like no explanation or anything. So like
Right.
um so there was a Spanish speaking section that my mom would be comfortable being at and stuff. So like we would just always be, we always wanted to sit there and stuff like that. So like just us sitting there, that was a problem. So I feel like that started, that was like the opening of the cans of us getting treated differently, I guess,
Okay,
because they
so
seen
Wait,
that like
go ahead, Autumn.
go ahead now.
Well, I was going to ask, so is this like in the sanctuary? You mean like when you would go to a Sabbath service, for example, there was a certain section where people that spoke Spanish would sit, and because your mom spoke Spanish, you guys wanted to sit in that section, and the House of Yahweh didn't like that? Is that what you're saying? My understanding.
yeah.
Okay. Now, did they give a reason why they didn't like it? I mean,
No, it was just like more like, oh, you can't sit here. Like
okay. And now
it was really.
this is just you and your mom and your sisters, I assume, because the wall's up, right? So you're already separated from your dad and your brother at this point, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay. But and as far as you know, was your dad getting the same kind of differential treatment, or was this just something that you and your mom and your sisters were getting, feeling like you were getting this treated differently?
It was just. I feel like it was just on our side.
Okay.
Um, but to answer your question, by my mom getting treated differently and my sister, because also my sister, when we first got there, she tried to get baptized, and she didn't really understand. She understood like keeping the Sabbath and all that because that's what we grew up on. But then when we heard about do you know if Yisrael's the one sent and stuff, she wasn't sure about that, because we just
Mm,
got there, because we were like, okay, who is this guy?
right.
and and so I guess by her saying she didn't understand that, they were like, she can't get baptized,
Mm.
even though so like that was just that kind of like threw her off.
And this is one of your
So
older
they,
sisters, I assume.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So after that, they also went. I guess like on her side, she was like getting treated like they were calling her, like people were gossiping about her because she did stuff that she wanted to do. Like she would cut her hair. Like she just shaved her
Mm.
hair one day, and they were like, "Oh, you can't do that because you're a woman and stuff like that." And
And she said,
you
too
know,
late.
yeah. And then she just didn't understand like why was that such a big deal. And so
Right.
they called her names like she was like a lesbian or something, but like that's not even the case. Just because
Wow.
you cut your hair doesn't mean you're a lesbian. But anyways, so she
Now,
left. My sisters left.
the people who were calling this, were they other adults or people her age?
Um, I think it was all types. It was adults, people her age, because she was 18 at the time, 17, 18 at the time.
Okay.
So
So just a combination of other members that were kind of
yeah,
bullying her, I would say.
yeah. So
Um,
she left. Yeah.
so, so okay, so you're kind of confused by this. You guys are kind of doing your own thing, so to speak. So in that case, were you going to a public school? Were you going to a House of Yahweh school? What were you doing as far as your schooling goes at this time?
So I was in when I moved there, I was in sixth grade. So yeah, so grade through seventh grade, I was in school, and then eighth grade, I decided to leave school because they were encouraging, everybody to be homeschooled and
Okay.
stuff.
So they did
Yeah.
not have a private school at this time. You were going to a public school when you first moved there.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so then when you left school, were you working? Were you working for the House of Yahweh? Were you working for outside of the House of Yahweh?
So when I left school, I automatically wanted to, be a part, to work and stuff like that. So, and I worked in all types of so at first I worked at the press room. Um and then I worked in a cafeteria, in a bakery like during the feast.
Right.
And then I moved up to like the office and stuff.
Now,
So
whose office? The South office? The office on Tampa
Um
Lane? Whose office were you working in?
I worked at the North office.
The North office.
so was that working directly for Yisrayl Hawkins?
Yeah, I mean, I believe so. Yeah, most of the jobs are like you're working with him.
Okay, so and what exactly were you doing in the office? I mean, can you share with us what kind of job you were doing?
Yeah. Well, when I say working with him, you're not working with him. He's not
Right,
usually
but
there
for
for like,
him.
yeah, for him. So,
Right.
in the North office, so I worked at the North office only on Saturdays, on
Okay.
Sabbaths. So I would just count money. I would like get the box from the sanctuary full of tithes and all that, and we would count them. We'll count. I think we would like count all the money from like the general store, cafeteria, all the businesses he had. That's where all the money will be counted on Sabbaths. And I was like, what? What? I thought this is business to me. I thought we
Right.
were not even supposed to be touching money on
Right.
Sabbaths.
And you're probably like you were in 8th grade, so you're what, maybe 14, 13, 14, I'm guessing at this time?
Yeah, 14 going on 15.
Okay.
Do you remember any sums, any total sums?
Uh I would see $500 checks. I would see $1,000 sums. Like they were like it was a lot of money. Like it was a lot of money.
Wow. When you finally did find a dwelling with better living conditions for your family and you inquired about moving there, can you tell us how this played out for you?
So okay, so we was lit until okay. It took me 3 years. It took us 3 years to actually get fed up of our living situation because they said 6 months,
Right.
but they ended up like ignoring it because we
So
wasn't
you
saying
lived in
anything
that
about it.
2-bedroom trailer with 7 people for 3 years. Was that
Yeah, so at first it was 7 people, and then my sisters left, and my mom, she
okay?
didn't even want to be there because you know it's not enough room.
Right.
So like it ended up just being me, my dad, my little brother, and my little sister
Okay.
in this 2 bedroom, you know,
Worn
trailer.
down.
Yeah, so and at this point we had rats. Like it was
Do you mean mice or you mean rats?
yeah, rats. Like like
Oh,
Like the
wow.
big ones with the long tail.
yeah. So
Did you let them know and they sent an exterminator?
nope. So okay, so we had black mold also all through the walls. We have pictures. Like I wish I could show you this. We have holes, and like if you like, oh my word, like from if you looking through the holes, like you'll see under the trailer.
Like in the floor,
Like
you mean?
yeah, on the
So
floor,
this
on the
was
floor.
probably where the rats were getting in.
Yeah, and it's
Right.
like, why would you give someone a condition like in that type of condition? A
Right.
family.
Right.
Why would you give a family like so? Like my brother has asthma. His asthma was just acting up all through, you know, our time there, and my dad's health got worse. Um, so 3 years later, I end up, I have my neighbor. Okay, so my neighbor, I was friends with her, and she encouraged me. I mean, I don't know. Okay, she encouraged me to talk to pastor and stuff like that. to make a meeting, you know. So
About
like,
getting another place to live.
yeah, for all types of stuff, for like anything, she was just like talk to him. So that's what I did, and I remember one Sabbath, during services and stuff, one of the Kohanas, she was like, Pastor would like to talk to you, or like, cause my meeting and stuff. And so like when I went into the North office, like they were like instantly like take off your veil, and I was like surprised because I was just like, I'm not used to like showing my face to a man and all that. I mean, even though like I'm used to it where I live, but like, not when I'm in the 44. Like,
Right.
With
so
pastor.
like, yeah. I hope it makes sense. Like,
No,
It
just,
does.
absolutely. No, we're following your
yeah, okay.
story.
Okay, so I meet him. Uh, he, so I meet him, and instantly, like, he asks me, like, what could I help you? What could I do for you? And I'm like, we've been living in, like, our trailer situation's not the best. We would like to find a new place, and also, can I work at can I continue working at the cafeteria? Um, like I told him, like there's this pretty blue trailer, on the near the sign, that road,
The
Oak
when you
Forest.
57.
go in, yeah, that road, that long road. I forgot the road names, but there's this pretty blue trailer that's new. We can afford it and stuff like that, because we were, paying $500 for like a trailer that's like not even in good condition. So like, you know,
Right.
and so like he was just like, yes, yes. He was like, yeah, like that's fine. Um, he didn't specifically say that's fine. He was just like, it's like it was just like, of course, but like, would you like to work at the office? It was like he
Right.
kind of avoided that,
Giving you a direct answer.
yeah, direct answer. It's like, would you like to work at the office and stuff like that? And I was just like, of course, why not? So that's when I started working at the North office, and yeah.
And he asked you to work at the North office. Did you see him while you worked at the North office? Did you have any interaction with him at all?
Yeah, so he'll be there. He'll chill there sometimes. We'll have dinner, um, all together, and he'll be there. Yeah, he'll be there regularly.
And at this point, did he have personal contact with you outside of the sanctuary, or outside of your working there and working for him?
Yeah, so like during the week when I worked at the North office, it's right next to the South office. So sometimes for only like 2 weeks, I worked at the North office during the week, and he'll call me like out of nowhere while I'm working, and I'll call back, and then he's just trying to answer and stuff like that. But then like later on when I'm done with work, like in the middle of the night, he'll like call me and like rehearse his like sermons and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So yeah.
And were your parents aware that he was calling you in the middle of the night?
No, they were not aware. He
Okay.
actually told me not to tell them.
Wow.
You were 15 years old,
Mhm.
and
Mhm. Yeah.
he would call you
On your private
11,
phone number,
12,
yeah.
Yeah, on his phone number.
But he was
but on
calling
your
you on
private
your
cell
cell
phone.
phone, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Walk me through a conversation. Okay, the phone's ringing. I'm you, you're him. Bring, bring, bring. Hello.
So okay. Okay, so most of the time it was like him asking me, him rehearsing his sermons, and him asking me like would I like to like cook him breakfast and stuff. Like what he would just tell me what he likes to do, like what he likes to eat. And like, you know, because this was like 3 years ago. So like most of the time he would just be rambling, and I
Right.
was just like, okay, yeah, like, and I remember, yeah, specifically one time he asked me like he wanted me to cook him dinner, and he wants to pick me up, um, and he wanted me to go with I think one of his wives or something to like clean one of his houses.
Okay.
And I was just like, like, sure, why not, you know? So then, um, I remember like thinking like I have to tell my dad, like I can't just like, you know, have him pick me up and stuff like that and not tell my dad.
Right.
And so like, okay, so yeah,
So did you end
he
up
told me,
telling your dad at that point or not yet?
I didn't tell him yet. I actually told my mom because she came home. She came home that day. I remember that day like it was yesterday. She came home from that day from New York, and I was like so nervous I couldn't sleep, and I was just like, okay, like
And you were
he wants
nervous
me to.
because of this phone call?
Yeah. Okay. So the phone call was pretty much he asking me like, do I want to be in the kingdom with him,
Mm.
and like don't tell my parents.
Okay, so I have to ask. I have to ask. Okay, and you don't have to answer, but I gotta ask.
Mhm.
So, did this pervert man say, you're beautiful, I want you in my family, I desire you, or was he just a rambling old man?
Okay, so he didn't say it like that. He said it more like, "Oh, you can be in a big kingdom forever." Like if you, it's like he didn't want to say the word marry, but he was
What?
If
like
you come
saying
under
that.
my headship, if you come under,
Yeah, under. Yeah, and
see me looking at you, Mel? You see me looking at you, Mel?
Yes, yes, because we know that that's code for marriage in the House of Yahweh. Right.
yeah.
Because
So,
they
but he
don't use
said it
that
like
word.
you're gonna be a part of the kingdom and all that, and that I would like for you to cook me breakfast and stuff. Like he was telling me what like he liked yeah, he liked his breakfast. I thought it was really weird. I was like, what the fuck? Yo, sorry,
Yeah.
excuse my
Oh, that's
language.
okay.
But
No, it's okay. It's okay. Oh, we're thinking it.
In my head, I'm going, so what? You're going to wake up at your house, go to his house, and cook him breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense to me because I was just like, how is this possible without my dad knowing? Like I'm
Right.
15.
Right, exactly. You're 14 and you're thinking this conversation isn't even really making sense to me.
Yeah,
What?
so
So
Okay, I'm
so
good.
so how did the conversation with your mom go? How did your mom react when you told her what his request was? And were there strings attached with this request?
okay, so my mom, she did not like it at all. She was just like, "You're not going anywhere with that dude. You're not going anywhere with that dude."
I don't know your
And
mom,
so
but
I
I
had
like
to,
her.
yeah. So I had eventually had to tell him no because for weeks I was dodging it. I was like, I don't like.
Mm,
I even asked one of his wives. I don't want to mention her name, but
right.
I didn't even know her. But I just one day went up to her and I was just like, because I worked with her and I knew she
Mm,
was married to him,
okay.
and she was just like. She's like I sat down with her. She was just like no. She was like, "This is what you're gonna tell him. Like you
Mm.
should not do that." You know.
So even she was
And
trying to
yeah,
protect you.
yeah. And so eventually, I had to tell him no, and I said it as nice as possible. And so like he gave me the reference Boaz and Rhea, and I was like, he told me to read it, and he told me to like read it and then get back to
So
him. And so I,
he told you to go read the book of Ruth, which
yeah,
is Boaz and Rhea. But for those that are watching, he tells her to go read the book of Ruth. And I encourage everybody who does not know the Bible to go read the book of Ruth, what this grown 70, 80-year-old man is telling this 15-year-old girl to read. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like I read it, and it's pretty much about, I mean, should I say what it's about?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, so long story short, he was telling me to read that because Boaz was an older man and Rhea was, you know, a younger woman. So like I guess he was trying to say, oh, because they did it, we could do it, but it's not the same thing. Like that was a long time ago. Like we're yeah. So then I declined. I was like, you know, no. And so after I said no, then I remember next Sabbath I was, you know, right walking my way up to the North office, you know, got in my regular position, you know, and so like, and then when what's her name, this judge, she was like, oh, you cannot work here no more, blah blah. Go to she said it rude, but I was like, yeah.
Okay, now
Wow.
we're down to about 4 minutes, so I'm going to have to send you a link because we're going to have to do a part 2 on your interview. But
Yeah.
I would like you, because you talked to us, we had a pre-interview chat with you, and we know some of your story, and I would like you to explain to us the correlation of how you're having this meal with Yisrayl tied in with the blue trailer for your family. So you can think about how you're going to answer that when we come back for part 2. So think about it, but don't answer yet. We're going to have you come back and explain how those two things tied together in your conversations with him when we come back. Okay, we'll be right back. Thank you. Come back for part 2, everyone.